All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into AI.
Oh, yeah.
And not just like some chat bot that, orders a pizza for you.
Right.
We're going all the way to the top with Mark Andreessen.
Oh, okay.
The Netscape guy, early investor in Facebook.
Yeah.
Basically, the guy who has a sixth sense for where tech is going.
He does, really does.
Totally amazing.
In this interview with Tom Bilyeu Andreessen makes the case that AI is not just another tech wave.
Okay.
It's a fundamental shift, like the invention of the microprocessor, the personal computer, the internet.
Wow.
Only potentially bigger.
Okay, that's a bold statement.
Mm-hmm.
So what exactly does he think this AI revolution is going to look like?
Well, he starts by talking about the impact on different industries, and healthcare is at the top of the list.
Okay.
Andreessen mentions having lunch with Demis Hassabis, the mind behind DeepMind.
Yeah.
The folks who cracked a protein folding problem.
Right, I remember that making headlines. Didn't Hassabis win a Nobel Prize for that?
He did. And it's a huge deal because proteins are the building blocks of life.
Right.
And how they fold determines how they function. For decades, scientists have been trying to figure out how to predict those folds.
Yeah.
And Hassabis and his team used AI to do it.
Wow.
This opens up crazy possibilities for drug discovery, disease treatment, personalized medicine. It's mind-blowing.
So basically, AI is going to revolutionize healthcare from the ground up.
That's what Andreessen believes.
Wow.
And he doesn't stop there.
Okay.
He talks about entertainment, too. He sees AI unleashing a wave of creativity, not just in music and film, but even in fields like writing.
So we're not just talking about AI generating some catchy pop songs or writing basic scripts.
No, we're talking about AI collaborating with artists, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Okay.
Creating entirely new forms of art that we can't even imagine yet.
Now that's exciting. But then there's the whole robotics thing.
Right.
We've all seen those sci-fi movies with robots doing everything for us.
Right.
Is that where this is headed?
Well, Andreessen talks about having AI robot dogs at his house.
Oh, really?
And these aren't just cute toys. These dogs can climb stairs, do backflips.
Wow.
They're incredibly agile. He sees this as the beginning of a wave of advanced robotics.
Right.
That will eventually lead to humanoid robots becoming part of our everyday lives.
Wow, that's both fascinating and a little bit creepy. I mean, imagine having a robot that does your chores, cooks dinner, maybe even takes care of your kids.
It's definitely a mind-bending idea,
Yep.
and it raises a ton of questions.
For sure.
How would that change our society? What would it mean for human connection and relationships? What about jobs?
Yeah, that's a big one. If robots are doing all the work, what happens to us?
Exactly. But Andreessen doesn't shy away from these tough questions.
Yeah.
In fact, he dives right into some even more controversial territory.
Okay.
The whole issue of AI censorship.
Oh?
He believes this is going to be even bigger than the social media censorship battles we've seen.
Oh, wow. What makes him think that?
Well, he argues that AI will become the controlling software layer of everything.
Sure.
It'll be embedded in our devices, our infrastructure, even our education systems.
Yeah.
And that means it could have an unprecedented level of influence over what we see, what we hear, what we learn,
Right.
and ultimately how we think.
Okay, now that's getting a little scary. I mean, if AI is controlling the information we have access to, who's to say it's going to be objective? What if it's biased?
That's precisely Andreessen's concern.
Okay.
He talks about the danger of biased AI framing our understanding of truth.
Right.
Imagine an AI that's been trained on a data set that reflects a particular political viewpoint,
Yeah.
or that's designed to prioritize certain types of information over others.
That could be really dangerous. It could be used to manipulate people, to control the narrative, to stifle dissent.
Exactly. And Andreessen believes that the stakes are incredibly high.
Wow.
He sees this as a battle for the future of free speech.
Oh, wow.
And he's very vocal about the need to protect open discourse and diverse viewpoints in the age of AI.
I'm starting to see why this deep dive is so important. This isn't just about cool gadgets and futuristic robots. It's about the fundamental values that shape our society.
Absolutely. And it gets even deeper when Andreessen starts talking about the relationship between technological progress and economic growth.
Okay.
You might think that with all the advancements we've had in recent decades,
Yeah.
the economy should be booming.
That's what we're always told, right?
Yeah.
Technology equals progress equals economic growth.
Right. But Andreessen argues that technological progress has actually been slower in recent decades.
Really?
Compared to the mid-20th century.
Oh.
And he believes that this is a major reason why economic growth has been sluggish.
Okay.
And why we're seeing so much political polarization.
Wait, so he's saying that slower technological progress is actually hurting us, both economically and politically?
That's exactly what he's saying. Believes that rapid technological progress is the key to creating a more prosperous and less divisive society.
So how do we get back on track? What's the solution?
Well, Andreessen believes that one of the biggest obstacles to progress is overregulation.
Okay.
He points to sectors like healthcare, education, and housing,
Yeah.
where he argues that too much regulation has stifled innovation and driven up costs.
I can definitely see that. I mean, healthcare costs are through the roof.
Right.
And the education system seems stuck in the past.
Exactly. And Andreessen believes that injecting more technology into these sectors is the key to driving down costs, improving quality, and making them more accessible to everyone.
So he's basically saying that we need to loosen the reins on innovation and let technology disrupt these industries.
That's his argument.
Yeah.
And he sees AI as playing a central role in this disruption.
Okay.
He believes that AI can be used to personalize healthcare, to revolutionize education, to make housing more affordable.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
No, but he also acknowledges that there are risks involved.
Right, like the whole job displacement issue we talked about earlier. If AI takes over jobs in healthcare, education, and housing, what happens to the people who are doing those jobs?
That's a valid concern, and it's one that we'll need to address as we move forward.
Right.
But Andreessen believes that ultimately technological progress creates more jobs than it destroys.
Okay.
He points to the fact that throughout history, new technologies have always led to new industries, new opportunities, and new ways of working.
So it's not just about fearing the future.
No.
It's about embracing the possibilities and preparing ourselves for a world that's going to look very different from the one we know today.
Exactly. And one of the key figures Andreessen points to in this regard is, of course, Elon Musk.
Go for it.
He highlights Musk's radical approach to AI development,
Okay.
which focuses on creating maximally truth-seeking AI.
Now that's an interesting concept. What does truth-seeking AI even mean?
It's about creating AI that's not biased, that's not designed to promote a particular agenda,
Right.
but rather to seek out and present information in an objective and unbiased way.
So it's kind of like the holy grail of AI, right?
Yeah.
An AI that can cut through all the noise and misinformation and just give us the facts.
Exactly. And Andreessen sees Musk's pursuit of truth-seeking AI as a beacon of hope.
Oh, wow.
A counterpoint to the trend of biased algorithms that are becoming increasingly prevalent.
But is that even possible? Can we really create AI that's completely unbiased?
That's a question that's being debated by philosophers, ethicists, and computer scientists alike.
Yeah.
And there's no easy answer. But Andreessen believes that it's a goal worth striving for.
I have to admit, the idea of an AI that can help us see the world more clearly without all the spin and manipulation is pretty appealing.
It's a powerful idea. And it highlights the potential for AI to not only disrupt industries and economies, but also to transform the way we think and understand the world.
So where does free speech fit into all of this?
Well, Andreessen sees free speech as absolutely essential in the age of AI. He argues that if we want to ensure that AI is developed and used ethically, if we want to prevent it from being used to control and manipulate us,
Right.
we need to protect open discourse and the free exchange of ideas.
That makes sense. If we allow censorship to take hold, if we silence dissenting voices, then we're giving up our ability to shape the future of AI in a way that aligns with our values.
Exactly. And Andreessen is a staunch advocate for free speech, both online and offline.
Okay.
He sees it as a fundamental right essential for a healthy democracy and for the advancement of knowledge and understanding.
So we've got AI revolutionizing industries, raising questions about jobs and censorship, and potentially transforming the very fabric of our society.
It's a lot.
And at the heart of it all is this debate about free speech.
Yeah.
About truth, about what it means to be human in a world that's increasingly shaped by artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
It's a lot to wrap our heads around.
It is. And we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
But hopefully this deep dive has given you a better understanding of the key issues at stake. Right. And the potential for AI to both empower and challenge us in the years to come. So, as we kind of dig deeper into Andreessen's thoughts on AI, one thing that keeps coming up is this contrast between how most companies operate and how Elon Musk does things.
Right. We touched on his get it done philosophy earlier.
Right.
But I'm curious to hear more about how Andreessen sees Musk's approach.
Well, he paints a pretty stark picture. He says that while a lot of CEOs get stuck in, endless meetings
Right.
and bureaucratic processes,
Yeah.
Musk is laser focused on substance over style.
Meaning he actually gets his hands dirty working directly with the engineers to solve problems.
Exactly. He cuts through layers of management and red tape to get to the heart of the matter.
Yeah.
And maybe most importantly, he's all about rapid iteration and constantly pushing for progress.
He's not afraid to make mistakes as long as he learns from them and moves faster the next time.
That's it. Andreessen compares most companies to tortoises.
Okay.
Slow, methodical, and resistant to change.
Right.
But Musk's companies are like rabbits.
Quick, agile, and constantly adapting.
It's like they're operating on a whole different timescale.
Yeah.
But is that just Musk's personality, or can other leaders actually learn from this approach?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
And Andreessen seems to think there are transferable lessons here.
Okay.
He says that many organizations get caught up in what he calls crisis management,
Okay.
where they're so focused on avoiding past mistakes
Right.
that they miss out on future opportunities.
Always looking in the rearview mirror instead of through the windshield.
Exactly. And that leads to a buildup of bureaucracy.
Right.
That stifles innovation and slows down progress.
Yeah.
Musk, on the other hand, embraces a culture of experimentation.
So maybe the lesson here is that sometimes you have to break a few eggs to make an omelet.
Well, it's definitely a riskier approach.
Yeah.
But in a world that's changing as rapidly as ours,
Right.
maybe we need more leaders who are willing to shake things up and embrace a more agile, action-oriented approach.
Now, while Musk is all about pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Andreessen also brings up some interesting points about the U.S. as a system
Yeah.
and America as its people.
Right. He points out that while the U.S. government can be slow, bureaucratic, and resistant to change, the American people are inherently innovative, adaptable, and entrepreneurial.
So there's a tension between the system and the spirit of the people.
That's right. But even with all the challenges like overregulation and political gridlock,
Yeah.
Andreessen is optimistic about America's long-term potential.
Okay.
He believes that the ingenuity and resilience of the American people will ultimately win out.
Okay. That's a hopeful message,
Yeah.
especially when we're talking about something as potentially disruptive as AI. Speaking of which, we've talked a lot about the potential benefits of AI.
Right.
But what about the downsides? Andreessen doesn't gloss over those, right?
No, he doesn't. He acknowledges the real concern about job displacement, which we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But he also pushes back against what he calls the lump of labor fallacy.
The what fallacy?
The lump of labor fallacy. It's the idea that there's a fixed amount of work to be done.
Right.
So if machines do more of it, there will be less work left for humans.
But history has shown that's not true at all, right?
Right. New technologies have always created new industries and new types of jobs.
Right.
Think about the internet.
Yeah.
No one could have predicted all the jobs that would emerge from that.
Right.
Like web developers, social media managers, YouTubers.
Okay, so it's not about fearing the robots taking over. It's about adapting and preparing for the new opportunities that AI will create.
That's the key takeaway. Andreessen emphasizes the importance of education retraining.
Right.
And creating pathways for people to transition into these new roles.
So it's about empowering people to thrive in this new landscape, rather than just trying to hold on to the old ways of doing things.
Now, this brings us to a topic that's both fascinating and a little unnerving.
Okay.
How AI could impact human relationships,
Okay.
family structures,
Yeah.
and even our sense of purpose.
We've talked about industries and jobs, but this gets to the core of what it means to be human.
Right. Andreessen doesn't shy away from exploring these complex, even controversial issues.
Yeah.
He acknowledges the possibility of people forming deep connections with AI,
Okay.
even developing a sense of companionship or emotional attachment.
I mean, we're already seeing this to some extent, right? People get attached to their virtual assistants, they form online communities, they spend hours in virtual worlds.
And with AI getting more sophisticated,
Right.
those lines between human and artificial relationships could become even more blurred.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
But here's the crucial thing.
Okay.
Andreessen doesn't see AI as a replacement for human connection.
He's not saying we'll all be married to robots someday.
No, not at all. He actually draws on his own experience of becoming a father,
Okay.
describing it as a profound psychological reset.
In what way?
He talks about realizing the primal, deeply ingrained human desire for connection and family.
Okay.
And this leads to a discussion about the role of religion in a world shaped by technology.
That's an interesting juxtaposition. We often think of technology and religion as being at odds.
Right. But Andreessen acknowledges that we're in a time of spiritual searching, with traditional religious institutions losing influence, and people looking for meaning in new places.
So where does AI fit into this search for meaning?
Well, he points out that we're already seeing the rise of what he calls secular religions, movements or ideologies that fulfill some of the same psychological and social needs as traditional religions. And he suggests that technology itself could be viewed as a kind of religion with its own set of beliefs, rituals, even a sense of the sacred.
Wow, that's a thought-provoking idea.
Yeah.
So AI could actually become part of this spiritual landscape.
It's a possibility. But here's where Andreessen brings it back to human nature.
So
he acknowledges the potential for people to choose AI children, or even romantic partners. But he also emphasizes the deep-seated, biologically driven human urge to form connections with other humans, especially within the context of family.
So even in a world of increasingly sophisticated AI, the pull of human connection remains strong.
It seems so, and I think that's a really important point to consider as we navigate these uncharted waters. We need to approach these questions with curiosity, but also with a sense of humility.
We don't have all the answers, but we need to keep asking the right questions.
Exactly. And ultimately, that brings us back to the fundamental question that underlies this entire conversation. What does it truly mean to be human in an age of AI?
Yeah, it really is a fundamental question. And, as we kind of wrap up our deep dive into Mark Andreessen's thoughts on AI, it's clear that this isn't just about the technology itself. It's about how AI forces us to examine what it means to be human.
It's like AI is holding up this mirror, reflecting back our values, our beliefs, and our place in the world.
Exactly. And Andreessen doesn't shy away from these deeper philosophical, even spiritual questions.
He acknowledges that AI could challenge our ethical frameworks, our understanding of consciousness, even our place in the cosmos.
Whoa, we're getting pretty existential here.
But these aren't just abstract philosophical debates anymore. They're becoming increasingly relevant as AI systems get more advanced, blurring the lines between human and artificial intelligence.
It's like we're entering this uncharted territory where the old rules no longer apply. And we have to redefine what it means to be human.
And this is where Andreessen's emphasis on free speech becomes even more critical. He argues that as AI becomes more powerful and has the potential to shape our perceptions and influence our decisions, it's absolutely crucial to protect open discourse and the free exchange of ideas.
So we can't let censorship, whether by governments, corporations, or even algorithms, control the narrative around AI.
Exactly. If we allow a narrow set of voices to dominate the conversation about AI, we risk stifling innovation, limiting our understanding of its potential, and even creating systems that reflect the biases of a select few.
It's about ensuring that everyone has a voice in shaping the future of AI.
And that brings us back to a theme that's been woven throughout our discussion, the importance of adaptability and lifelong learning. In a world where AI is constantly evolving, the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn becomes essential.
Not just to keep up with the technology, but to grapple with the ethical and societal challenges that AI presents.
It's about cultivating a mindset of curiosity, critical thinking, and a willingness to embrace change even when it's uncomfortable.
So it's not about fearing the future. It's about being open to new possibilities and being willing to adapt.
Exactly. And it's about remembering that AI, for all its potential benefits and risks, is ultimately a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. The responsibility lies with us as humans to guide its development, to shape its applications, and to ensure that it serves humanity.
It's a huge responsibility, but it's also an incredible opportunity. We're at this pivotal moment in history where we have the chance to shape the future of AI and to ensure that it aligns with our values and aspirations.
So as we conclude this deep dive, we want to leave you with this final thought. The future of AI isn't predetermined. It's a future that we are actively shaping through our choices, our actions, and our willingness to engage in thoughtful and challenging conversations. Let's embrace this opportunity with a sense of responsibility and hope, recognizing that the future of AI is ultimately a reflection of our own humanity.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into AI. Be sure to check out our next episode where we'll continue to explore the frontiers of technology and its impact on our lives.